How's it going, everybody? My name is the Gaming Vortex, and today I am making a video on my own theory to the story of DeltaRune. That's right, I think I solved it. I think it's all over. I think the rest of these theory videos could just go on home because your boy solved it totally, 100%. I cracked the code. Your boy done his homework. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I know the biggest question that probably anyone has for DeltaRune is, how does this evolve of Undertale? Is it a prequel? Is it a sequel? Is it an alternate universe? And I believe I have found the answer to that. With enough evidence supporting for Undertale and for DeltaRune, I have come to the conclusion that it is not a prequel, because we have multiple evidence supporting that it is not a prequel. One of them being Gerson. Do you remember the shopkeeper, the old turtle dude in Undertale? Well, yeah, in the DeltaRune story, he is dead. You can actually find his grave in the cemetery if you go left, besides like that church or chapel or whatever it is. And you're probably wondering, oh, Gaming Vortex, well then it must be a sequel, right?
Wrong!
It is not a sequel at all. It wouldn't make sense. I mean, if you talk to Undyne, not only does she have a second eye, and not an eye patch, but she doesn't remember who Alphys is. She never met Alphys. And also, you were never friends with Papyrus. If you talk to Sans, he says like they're new to town, and that his brother needed friends, which is Papyrus. So, what, did you just not become friends with him after Undertale? You know, like, well, what's the whole point of that? My theory is that it's some kind of alternate universe at the end of the day. However, I do have some evidence supporting that Undertale and DeltaRune do link in some form or fashion. So, one thing that I've been thinking about is, are there any characters that are the same as Undertale? Some people are saying that Sans is the same from Undertale. I kind of don't know how I feel about that. Because, yes, he does wink at you when he says he'd never met you before, but technically, yeah, he hasn't met you before, because in Undertale you're playing as Frisk. In DeltaRune you're playing as Chris. So those are two completely different characters. Also, it wouldn't make sense if it was Sans from Undertale coming into the world of DeltaRune. Wouldn't there be two Sans then? Now, I have thought of two characters that could be the same from Undertale, because we don't really have strong enough evidence to support that they are different characters, and those two characters are Kara and Gaster.
So people are probably also wondering how Gaster comes to the story even more. Well, I do have quite a bit of a big theory on this, and it has to involve with the bunker in the real world. I don't know if y'all ever went to the bunker, but if you, for the people who have, you know that it makes kind of a strange noise, and it's almost similar to kind of Gaster. I'm going to be playing a video of what the noise sounds like, and then I'm going to also speed it up for you. So listen carefully. That is what the sound makes, so listen to what it sounds like when it's sped up. That sounds a lot like the phone call that you get when you try to call from the Dark World. So I know the real question that people are asking, is Sans the same from Undertale and DeltaRune? Well, if you look at the secret room back in Undertale that Sans gives you the key to, you can see that it says there's 3 people smiling on a drawn picture, right? So what if it is Chris, Susie, and Rousey? It also says Don't Forget in that room as well. And if you look, there is a Don't Forget song, the credits theme, to DeltaRune. This was also a thing that I thought of for, like some food for thought. This machine that was covered in that tarp, we still never know what that was. So maybe it's a machine that took Sans to another timeline.
I also feel like one of Gaster's biggest roles is he tries to stop you from having choice. If you remember at the very beginning of DeltaRune, you had a choice to make a vessel and customize it in any way or form, and give it its own personality, like what kind of food it likes, what its favorite blood type is, favorite color. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter because Gaster threw your creation away and forced you to have a choice, which is technically pacifist. You were never able to go genocide either way. You could never kill any monsters in the Dark World. You were just unable to. So was it because that Chris was a pure of heart, that he wanted to be the so-called hero? Also, at the end of the introduction thing, the person who was talking to you said, no one can choose who they are in this world. Even Susie herself said choices don't matter. So, in actuality, yeah, it didn't matter. It didn't matter what route you went. It was all going to lead to the same conclusion at the end, even though it was slightly different with the king at the end, depending on which route you took. So at the end of the day, it was still technically pacifist, and you can never go genocide. It was all Gaster's plan to make you, or try to make you at least, to be this so-called hero for the legend of DeltaRune. This legend of DeltaRune seemed to have been a historical event that was in the past, but Chris somehow may have recreated that, or maybe it was Gaster recreating the history of it with whatever was in that supply closet, basically. Because if you woke up from the Dark World, you saw how there was a chessboard, there was chess pieces, cards, everything like that, scattered all over the floor, and a plushie which could have been Sham, all in that room. So maybe it was just Gaster's own world that he made for you to try to make you pick the right path. So how does Kara come into play in all this? Or Kara, however you want to pronounce it. Well, I believe Gaster is trying to stop Kara from you picking choice, aka genocide. So at the end, once you woke up from the Dark World, people have been saying all over town that you've been kind of acting not as normal as you used to. You've been acting a little bit more weird than usual, or more tired. So what caused that? Was it from the Dark Fountain, that interaction with it? And was the interaction with the Dark Fountain is what got Kara to come into this world, into the world of DeltaRune? Because if you remember at the end, spoilers by the way, I know, like, I should have said spoilers at the beginning, but, Kara does take possession of Chris, and actually throws Chris's soul into this birdcage, because you can actually move around in the birdcage with Chris's soul, but you can't do anything. Kara took complete control over your vessel, I guess, Chris's vessel, and is now completely, in this world. Kara somehow snuck into the world that Gaster tried to keep Kara out.
One thing that still confuses me in DeltaRune is who is the knight that everyone keeps mentioning in the story. If you look, Sham actually talked about the knight, that he was in the card castle. Apparently this knight changed everything, it made the three kings locked away. Even Jevil talked about this knight, in the shadow of the knight's hand, Lightner's "Can you stop it?" So Jevil seems to also have met this knight before. The king also countlessly just talks about the knight during your fight with him. It seems like the king almost even worships this knight to some extent, and maybe this knight actually, corrupted these people. Not Jevil, Sham, and even the king into hating Lightners. Now, one thing I want to point right here is Sham says that Jevil met a certain someone, and then he started talking, strange, and, he started acting weird, and that came to the point where Sham had to lock him up. So is this strange someone the knight? Personally, I don't think so. I think whoever this person is a completely different person. Because wouldn't Sham just say that that person was the knight instead of a certain someone? Also, a lot of people might not know this, but there's a secret area you can go into in DeltaRune. If you keep going back and forth in a certain location, you come upon this single tree and nothing else, just like an empty void. When you read the tree, it says he is behind the tree. It never specifically says who this person is, but it is in fact a he and not a she. When you do talk to the person, he actually gives you an egg. It says, well, there is a man here. Then he proceeds to give you an egg. We actually have found out what that is, or what that does. Now, if you see, after you talk to him again, it says, well, there is not a man here. But if you look at my playthrough, which you're seeing right now, I tried to go up from there, and I still couldn't move up. So even though it says there is not a man here, something is still blocking Chris from moving up in that spot. My theory is that maybe it is Gaster, because if some people actually found Gaster in Undertale, you know that he actually disappeared at one point. So if he's able to disappear like this person is, maybe it correlates to that mysterious person being Gaster. Because for all we know, mostly everybody in the Dark World is either a certain suit. They're either a diamond, a heart, a club, or a spade. And that's not really including Jevil or Sham. But, it would be strange that the court mage for the castle, Sham, said a strange someone who didn't fit into the people of the Dark World. That is my theory, that this strange somebody could be in fact Gaster. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my Deltarune theory video. I know I did miss some things, and I probably will make another video. Or better yet, we could probably do a live stream where we can all talk about it, in one stream. Can all just chat about it. I think that'd be pretty cool. But thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Stay awesome, everybody.